Hello everyone, today our group will talk about Chapter 16, Motivating Employees. A key to success in management and your career is knowing what motivates you. Let me talk briefly about the learning objectives. Define motivation. Compare and contrast early theories of motivation. Compare and contrast contemporary theories of motivations. Develop your skill at motivating employees. Discuss current issues in motivations. So, what is motivations? Motivations is the process by which a person's efforts are energized, directed, and sustained toward attaining a goal. The best known theory of motivations is probably Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory. Every person is a hierarchy of 5 needs. Physiological needs. A person's need for food, drink, shelter, sexual satisfaction, and other physical needs. Safety needs. A person's need for security and protection from physical and emotional harm. Social needs. A person's need for affections, belongingness, acceptance, and friendship. Esteem needs. A person's need for internal factors and external factors. Self-actualization needs. A person's need to become what he or she is capable of becoming. Maslow argued that each level in needs hierarchy must be substantially satisfied before the next needs become dominant. An individual moves up the needs hierarchy from one level to the next. You can see in the exhibit 16.1. Husband two-factor theory is the motivations theory that claims that intrinsic factors are related to job satisfaction and motivation, whereas extrinsic factors are associated with job dissatisfaction. Husband wanted to know when people feel exceptionally good, satisfied, or bad, dissatisfied about their jobs. These findings are shown in Exhibit 16.2. He concluded that the replies people gave when they feel good about their jobs were significantly different from the replies they gave when they feel badly. As shown in Exhibit 16.3, Husband proposed that dual continuum existed. The opposite of satisfaction is no satisfaction, and the opposite of dissatisfaction is no dissatisfaction. 3 needs theory. The motivations theory that cites 3 acquired non-intent needs, achievement, power, and affiliations as major motive in work. Need for achievement, the drive to succeed and excel in relation to set of standards. Needs for power, the need to make others behave in a way that they would not have behaved otherwise. Needs for affiliations, the desire for friendly and close interpersonal relationships. The next part is contemporary theories of motivation. Goal-setting theory, the propositions that specific goals increase performance and that difficult goals, when accepted, result in higher performance than do easy goals. Self-efficiency. An individual's belief that he or she is capable of performing a task. Exhibit 16.5 summarizes the relationship among goals, motivation, and performance. One overall conclusion is that the intention to work toward hard and specific goals is a powerful motivating force. Under the proper conditions, it can lead to the higher performance. Job Characteristics Model (JCM), a framework for analyzing and designing jobs that identifies 5 primary core job dimensions, their interrelationships, and their impact on outcomes. 5 core job dimensions: skill variety, task identity, task significance, autonomy, feedback. The JCM is shown in Exhibit 6.6. Notice how the first 3 dimensions, skill variety, task identity, and task significance, combine to create meaningful work. Exhibit 6.9 presents a model that integrates much of what we know about motivation. Its basic foundation is the expectancy model. Designing appropriate reward program includes open book management, employee recognition programs, pay for performance programs.
Hello everyone, my name is Kiet and today I will present the case application of chapter 16. Now we come to the first case application. The question number 1, what would it be like to work at Patagonia, and what's your assessment of the company's work environment? So they will have to be very strong-minded and more than motivated. The company employees are very thoughtful in what they create with their products and have them tested so that they would be able to help the environment. Patagonia has made a lot of effort to attract people who share the same ideas and passion for the outdoors. This company is motivated in caring for the people in the community and around the globe and wants employees to work for the company that can help the company grow. And the question number 2, using what you've learned from studying the various motivation theories, what does Patagonia's situation tell you about employee motivation? So, influenced by workplace issues, being able to handle crises in a tough economy, it can make employees at various companies feel as if they were important given the challenges to make decisions. And question number 3, what do you think might be Patagonia's biggest challenge in keeping employees motivated? It gives its employees a responsibility but not a job, but a duty that they have to be able to help and preserve the environment. That means that they have a social responsibility to control the products that the company produces and have the obligations to be able to handle the challenge of product testing, which would help employees stay motivated. And when we come to case application number 2, the question 1, describe the elements of ROI. What do you think might be the advantages and drawbacks of this program? From the Best Buy website, in the results-only work environment at Best Buy's corporate office, our employees are trusted to manage their lives and their work without being judged or micromanaged by others. ROI means that employees are rewarded for outcomes, productivities, and leaders get to focus on the things that truly drive business results. It also means increased productivity, reduce voluntary employee turnover, and increase levels of engagement for our people. And the disadvantages of such a program are perceived as a loss of control of employees, increased training time, and increased difficulty monitoring and evaluating employee behavior. The question number 2, using one of more motivation theories from the chapter, explain why you think ROIs work. This program fits in the several theories of motivation. The theory Y giving employee more discretion in what they do in the jobs and making work more challenging, and goal setting by allowing employees to participate more in the goal setting process. As far as the conditions of work, that employees are more likely to accept and accomplish the goal. Expectancy theory. This program uses some aspects of goal setting, generating expectancies for employees and establishing outcomes. And the question number 3, what might be the challenges for managers in motivating employees in a work program like this? By allowing employees more flexibility in the when and where of work, it makes the manager's job more difficult in evaluating employee inputs. Without evaluation and control, it is difficult to assign compensation and other reinforcements for behavior. Most of these problems can be solved well with appropriate communication and performance monitoring system. The question number 4, does this sound like something you would be comfortable with? Why or why not? Because most students should report a preference for this type of arrangement. This is especially true of Gen X and Gen Y employees who value greater flexibility. Some, however, may be put off by the high degree of autonomy granted to employees. Too much freedom may actually intimidate some workers. And the last question, what's your interpretation of the statement that work isn't a place you go, it's something you do? Do you agree? Why or why not? Unfortunately, many employees see their contributions to their employers based on the amount of time they put in it, not the amount of effort. Just being at work does not help the organization accomplish its goals. Too many people sit at work waiting for 5 o'clock so they can leave. Once employees see that an organization's survival depends on work being done, then they see the benefit of losing the focus on time and place. So that's the end of my part. The other member will continue with with case application and chapter 17. Thank you for listening.
Now we have the lesson in the session 17, being an effective leader. We may have a question about who are leaders and what is leadership. Leader is someone who can influence others and who have managerial authority. Leadership is what leaders do, the process of influencing a group to achieve goals. Ideally, all managers should be leaders. Some early leadership theories. We have the three theories appear in the period of 1920s to 1930s. It's all about the research on identifying personal characteristics that differentiated leaders from non-leaders was unsuccessful, and it proved impossible to identify a set of traits that could always differentiate a leader from a non-leader. We have the behavioral theories discover the three types of leaderships. Three styles of leadership is autocratic, democratic, and laissez-faire. Third one is the Ohio State studies that identify two dimensions of leader behavior is initiating structure and consideration. Next is about the managerial grid. Managerial grids is a two-dimensional grid for appraising leadership styles. It places managerial styles in 5 categories: impoverished management, task management, middle-of-the-road management, country club management, and team management. Now it's all about contingency theories of leadership. It includes failure contingency model, the least preferred coworker questionnaire, the leader-member relations, task structure, and position power. Next is the Hersey and Blanchard situational leadership theory, or SLT. It includes situational leadership theory and readiness. SLT leadership styles has some component is about telling, selling, participating, and delegating. The four stages of follower readiness is the stage one. If people are both unable and unwilling to take responsibility for doing something, followers aren't competent or confident. Stage 2, people are unable but willing to do the necessary job tasks. Followers are motivated but lack the appropriate skills. Stage 3, people are able but unwilling to do what leader wants. Followers are competent but don't want to do something. And the final stage, people are both unable and willing to do what is asked of them. The Bath goal model is about the theory that says leaders' job is to assist followers in attaining their goals and to provide direction or support needed to ensure that their goals are compatible with goals and the group or organization. It has four leadership behaviors in the Bath goal model is directive leader, supportive leader, participating leader, and achievement-oriented leader. Now we have the contemporary views of leadership. It's about leader-member chain theory, transactional leaders, and transformational leaders, charismatic leader, and visionary leadership. The leadership issues in the 21st century is all about management power, developing trust, and empowering employees. And the last one is leading across cultures. To become an effective leader, the leader should have a training course. It is more likely to be successful with individuals who are high self-monitors than those who are low self-monitors. Individuals with higher levels of motivation to lead are more receptive to leadership development opportunities.
Guys, my name is Lam and I will continue my group presentation about the chapter 7 about the first application growing leaders. So the first question is, what do you think about Berkeley's statement that leader and managers different? Do you agree? Why or why not? So I think that Berkeley is spot on with his analysis that leader and managers are different. I completely agree that Berkeley managers usually concentrate on job at hand and process by which the job is done. Leaders usually lead by examples, showing the worker how something is done and create admiration among his followers. I think that's Berkeley because I really agree with Berkeley because what he said makes perfect sense. Leader need to be developed. Managers can be given process, and if not too hard to figure out how to get it done with the set guideline in place. The second question is, what leadership model series issue do you see in this case? List and describe. The leadership model that I see in this place is the visionary leadership model. This model represents a person's ability to create and articulate a realistic simulation that would allow a company a vision on the future, something realistic and tangible, and that is better than what's happening in the present. The leadership theory that within this case is further contingency model. Basically, a further contingency model is probably using a manager's skill and leadership style to create the best result possible based on the current situation. So the only issue that I see in this case, using those 6 attributes that the company is training its leader to following, it makes them to follow a very narrow path to success when there are many more possibilities that will lead to success. To put it plenty, it pigeonholes the leader into thinking that those 6 attributes that the company is looking for are the only things that really matter at the end of the day. So the first question is, take each of the 6 leadership attributes that the company feels is important and explain what do you think more one involves. Then discuss how those attributes may be developed and measured. So the first one is chart the course. Charting the course involves making a plan and being adaptable because of unforeseen events and situations. And everything needs to have a plan so that there's an end goal, so that everyone has a goal to work. I think that it can be measured by how closely the end results resemble that the hypothetical plan look like and the success of that plan. The second one is energize and inspires others. The ability to make others people around you work harder, whether they are by incentive, complement to raising the overall moral of the company. This can be measured with survey, questionnaire, and what will rate the overall moral and happiness level of the workforce. Another one is demonstrates ethic, integrity, and compliance. The ability not to do anything under the table and follow direction from up above without questioning it. I think this can be developed by putting the manager in different kinds of situation and seeing how he reacts with that situation and what he learns from those situation. I think that would be measured by personal experience with that managers and talking to people that he works with on a day basis. Basically, the people that are in positions above him are judging his moral characters and how he will follow directions. The fourth question is, what did this case teach you about leaderships? This case taught me that a leader and a manager are different kinds of people, and to be a manager is to focus on processing how the work is done and what it takes to get a job done. To be a leader is to focus on the inspiration of the workforce to do the task at hand and to put all their effort into that project. Leaders also focus on what the task at end actually is, and the lead by example. A leader literally leads his followers into a phrase, but know what to say and do in order to inspire them to complete the job to the best of their ability. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.